Hello and welcome to NFL Gamepicks, Week 8 of the NFL season. Just approaching the halfway point of the season, and man, it is flying by. I'm having fun. Last week was not fun with the picks.
Nope.
We only had one person go positive on the week, so that was something to behold. But we'll get into that in a sec. But aside from that, tough week, tough week for the Miami Dolphins. Played the Philadelphia Eagles and lost by 14 points. It wasn't that bad of a loss. Eagles scored a really late touchdown after the Dolphins failed to convert on fourth down. But aside from that, just a tough day for the Miami Dolphins. But I'm expecting a big bounce back win against New England Patriots this week, so that should be fun. But Joey, bye week.
Oh man, we did not come out of our bye week looking at all prepared for anything. We lost to the Denver Broncos, worst team in the league. Don't really know where we go from here. This guy Jordan Love looks like complete shit. Not a fan anymore. You had me for a while, but you got to win me back and a lot of us back because I'm freaking pissed about this team, their play style, the coaching, everything. I think everybody should be fired, and I'd really be surprised if we won another game all year. So that's where I'm at.
Whew. 1 week I don't pick the Bears, they get a win. Kind of bummed about that. I should have just stuck with my gut and taken my guys, but they got a win, which was nice to see. Deontay Foreman scored like 3 touchdowns and went crazy, so that was cool. We're still banged up. Jalen Johnson, who's been on the trade block, got a pick 6. So hopefully we don't send him out of town, but if we could get some players or draft capital back, maybe it's a move. But yeah, overall, tough week for Pick'ems.
Yeah, I tried telling you reverse psychology, and it ended up working. So that's cool. One of my friends, he was debating to start. I forgot who it was, but I know it was between someone and Devontae Foreman. And I told him Foreman, and then Foreman went off and he didn't start him. I'm like, should have done it, buddy. Anyways, let's get into the standings. We have Yadian on top, 70-36 after a 6-7 week. And newsflash, only one person had a positive pick week. Everyone else was below 500. So that tells you what kind of week it was in week 7. Lots and lots of upsets. Myself also went 6-7, but I'm 68-38. Right behind us is Hector with 67-39, 67, 6-7 on the week. Troy dropped out of the top 3 after a 5-8 week, so he could have had a chance to stay in the top 3. That was unfortunate. And then top performer of the week is Anthony with 8-5 week, currently sitting in 6th place at 63-43. Chris, where are you at?
Man, I went 5-8 last week, not very good. Tied with Andy at 62-64. Got some work to do. 62-44, my bad.
Time to build. And Joey?
Yeah, still staying true at the number 9 spot, 59-47. So I guess I'm above 500 on the year, but trash overall.
It's not horrible. Could be worse. Yeah. And you went 5-8 as well. A lot of people had a bad week. Worst of them all, aside from anyone who didn't pick, was 3-10 for Alejandro. So same thing for Brett. I'm imagining one of those 3 were the Jacksonville Jaguars. I can guarantee you it was that. But anyways, let's hop straight into it. We have Thursday night football. We have the Tampa Bay Buccaneers versus the Buffalo Bills, October 26th. I'm not going to take you too long on this. I'm going to go with the Bills. I think they are far and above a superior team. And this Tampa Bay Buccaneers team, they have a lot of ups and downs. Currently sitting at 3-3, and a lot of inconsistent play out of them, and that's really what's steering me away from possibly picking them. But the Buffalo Bills just got handed a loss to the New England Patriots, so anything is possible. But losing back-to-back weeks, I don't think it's in the Buffalo Bills' cards this season at all, honestly. But who wants to go next?
I'll go.
All right.
Yeah, I'm going to go with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers here.
There we go.
Really not that great of a game last week against Atlanta, and a game that they really needed to win for that division lead. But Buffalo got the crap kicked out of them by the New England, and then the week before looked terrible against the Giants. I'm not confident picking Buffalo anymore. I'm going with Tampa Bay.
That's interesting. Yeah, I mean, both teams are coming off losses. They say good teams don't lose back to backs. I guess I'm going to take Buffalo at home. If this was in Tampa, I might actually go with Joey and lean Tampa. I think that's how bad Buffalo is playing. But like you guys mentioned, they both lost to bad teams last week. So we'll see what happens.
And Baker's not too bad on prime time, if I'm not mistaken. I don't know his record or anything, but anytime he's in prime time, I always see him show out.
Primetime performer. Remember
Primetime Baker.
That Thursday night game against the Raiders last year? That
Oh,
was an
yeah.
awesome one.
17 Baker.
First game as a Ram.
Legendary.
But Chris, why don't you take us to this next game, the first game on
Sure.
Sunday?
First game up, we got the Atlanta Falcons going to Tennessee to play the Titans. Man, I think this is a toss-up, honestly. I think they're two kind of bad teams. I'm gonna go with Atlanta. Maybe they'll win 2 in a row here. Maybe the Titans will eventually ship Derrick Henry out of town. I mean, seems like everybody's up for grabs. They just sent a safety to Philadelphia for a couple picks, so I feel like Tennessee is in total rebuild mode. I think Atlanta could honestly go to 5-3 after this week.
I think Atlanta will go to 5-3. I'm going to pick them. I'm not sure how confident I am in Will Levis. I think he'll be making his first start this week for the Titans. Dude puts mayonnaise in his coffee. I'm a little concerned about that. So I'm going to rock with Atlanta. Not sold on Desmond Ritter. I don't think the whole team. No, I think they are all in agreement that he's not the answer, but they're kind of just going through it. They got a good team around them, and they're going to be just fine for many years to come.
My biggest concern is B. John Robinson going to get the dang ball? It cost me a lot. I have him on like 3 fantasy leagues, and that upset me probably the most. 0.3 fantasy points from Bijan? Like, come on, dude. I heard he wasn't feeling well, but if that was the case, like, they should have let that news out way before the game. Not even for fantasy purposes, but just like everyone's watching and just being like, what the hell? Why is he not on the field? He was literally on the field probably 5 times the entire game. Like, come on. But this Tennessee Titans team just shipped off Kevin Byard, like Chris alluded to. That's a big loss for them. They didn't get too much in return, right?
I think they got like a 5th and a 6th round.
They got Terrell Edmonds as well.
Yeah.
Okay. Not horrible. Yeah. Aside from that, I'm going to go with the Tennessee Titans, mostly because they are rocking their throwbacks to the Houston Oilers jerseys. Big running game this week for them, especially with either Will Levis or Malik Willis starting at under center. So you definitely want to put the rookies in a good spot, and who better than to just hand it off to Derrick Henry and just run all over teams. So I'm interested in seeing that, but it's going to be a tough game for them, regardless of the fact. But Joey, take us to the next game.
Yeah, we got the Houston Texans playing against the Carolina Panthers. Bryce Young, 0-5, 0-6.
Yeah.
Not looking great so far for the Panthers. They don't even have the first round pick. That's going to the Bears. So I don't really know where they kind of go from here. I'm going with Houston. I think they've looked like the more impressive team, the more impressive young team so far with a rookie quarterback. C.J. Stroud has been impressing me a lot. What's he have? 2 interceptions? 1 interception?
1 interception, 7 touchdowns.
Very impressive.
And
Good for him.
within the top 5 of passing.
Houston's been waiting for this for a while. I'm very happy for the Texans that they finally got potentially a guy. I don't want to crown anyone yet.
Yeah, they haven't waited too long because they just recently had Deshaun Watson. But I understand what you're saying. They feel really confident about him. Like, he's been doing really good, and let's hope he comes out of the bye even better. I mean, and this is going to be the most interesting thing. I'm going with the Houston Texans, and it's mostly because of Stroud and how he's performed. I would put these two teams in a similar position to the start of the year, and Houston is miles ahead of Carolina, regardless of record or performances. Just overall, what you see on the field from them is way better than what you see from the Panthers. They put up a decent fight in a couple games, but aside from that, if they can't protect Bryce Young, he's not going to be able to deliver as much. And Adam Thielen is looking like a beast on that team, getting most of the targets. So interesting to watch.
Yeah, this is a cool game. You got the top 2 picks in last year's draft going at it head to head. Like you guys mentioned, the Texans are the better team. I think that's the easy pick. Hopefully Carolina keeps losing. That way we get a higher draft pick for the Bears.
Yeah, that's how you do it. What do we got next, Chris?
Jacksonville's going to Pittsburgh, and I'm gonna make it easy and just go ahead and pick the Jags. This is gonna be a real test, I think, for them because Pittsburgh is a pretty decent team, pretty good defense as well, and they're at home. Jaguars are on away game, so this is gonna be a real test for their character to see if they're actually one of the top teams in the NFL. And I think if they do get this win, they're gonna remain in those conversations.
Yeah, this game's going to be a lot better than people expect. Steelers have really surprised me. I didn't have any expectations for them going into the season, and now they're 4-2, and they're on a roll. I mean, they just beat the Rams, who aren't no slouch, and I think I'm going to go with the Steelers here. I know I've liked the Jags a lot all year, and they're a great team as well, but I like what the Steelers have going offensively and defensively. T.J. Watt has looked incredible all year, and he had a big interception last week. I think they get it done at home.
Yeah, I got to agree with you, Joey. I am going with the Pittsburgh Steelers. I was hoping I would probably be the only one picking it here, but I'm glad you kind of hopped on because, man, the Steelers have found something to work on offense. It wasn't a huge offensive performance, but nonetheless, compared to what they've been doing all season long, you could say it was a pretty big offensive performance against the Rams. I think they're starting to put it together. I think things are starting to click for them. And the biggest concern for the Pittsburgh Steelers for the rest of the season is your defense can't win you every single game. The game against the Cleveland Browns, that Pittsburgh Steelers defense scored them 2 touchdowns. Now, I'm not saying that they aren't capable of doing that more on in the future, but you don't want to rely on that to be how your team wins each and every week. And that's what they're hopefully straying away from and starting to become a better offensive unit. And I think those young guys on that offense are starting to get things moving in the right direction. I don't think it's not so much of Matt Canada's play calling, even though it's not per se the best overall. I think the Steelers have a good chance, but wouldn't be surprised if Jacksonville comes out on top. They're a really good team as well. But to keep us moving along, we have the Los Angeles Rams versus the Dallas Cowboys. This one's a tough one because you have the Rams who have been kind of up and down all season, but they've been in games nonstop. And you can probably say the same for the Dallas Cowboys. The only thing is they're actually coming out on top in a lot of these games, despite losing to the Cardinals. And who did they lose to recently? The 49ers. That was a tough game for them. Aside from the fact that this Cowboys team is inconsistent, I'm going to go with them. I liked what I saw from them against the Chargers last time they played. They just coming off a bye. Rams had a tough loss last week at home to the Steelers, and they're slowly retracting into what we thought they were, but Cooper Kupp can be an absolute game wrecker for them, so I think that could be a big difference. Who wants to go next? Christopher?
Yeah, I'm going to take the Cowboys at home. They're one of the best defenses in the league, despite, what Dak lacks, no pun intended. But they create a lot of turnovers, and who likes to turn the ball over a lot? Matthew Stafford. So I'm going to take Dallas at home.
I was going to pick Dallas, but since you guys both went with Dallas, I think I'm going to go with the Rams. This is a toss-up for me anyway. The Rams, this is a really big get-back game for them. They aren't really looking too great. They just lost to Pittsburgh, as we alluded to in the last game pick. It's so-so over there in Los Angeles, so we don't really know if they're a playoff team or if they are, because some weeks they come out looking like one of the best teams in the NFC, and then other weeks they come out looking like, dang, what the hell is Matthew Stafford still doing here? Is Cooper Kupp 100%? Where's Puka Nacua? Yada, yada, yada. I'm going to go with the Rams, though. This is a big get-back game for them, and I think they get it here on the road.
On top of that, I know you are a big fan of this guy. Kyron Williams' absence was really felt.
Yeah.
He's probably one of the top rushers in the entire NFL so far this season, and his absence was definitely felt because having him compared to having no shade to Darnell Henderson, but having him compared to Darnell Henderson is like night and day.
Yeah.
Kyron Williams was able to break tackles, extend plays, and really get the running game down the field, which is really what this Rams team needs when their passing game isn't there. And that's literally what the struggle was against Pittsburgh Steelers.
A lot of people thought that Kyron Williams was just, is it a product of the offensive line? Is he just in a good position? No, he's really freaking good. Very explosive, a good running back to have. And you're seeing it firsthand with Darrell Henderson coming in and not doing too great. Who was the other running back that they signed? I forget. But I think they brought him up. That's for the 49ers. A lot of weird running backs getting hurt, coming in, yada, yada, yada. We don't really know what's going on with a lot of people's situations.
Speaking of running backs, is your running back coming back this week?
Oh, man.
Is he gonna have a bounce back game? Is he gonna perform like he should?
Man, I would hope so.
I think he
So
practiced today.
no, he did not practice today. He
Rough.
felt a little sore, and then Matt said that they're hoping to vamp up his snaps, but he just was held out today.
Okay.
Whatever. I wouldn't be surprised if he doesn't play. Listen, I'm going to say, we got the Vikings traveling to Lambeau to play against the Packers. But this is freaking awful, man. I don't even know where to begin. Jordan Love looks like the worst quarterback in the league. The defense, abysmal. The offensive line, non-existent. The running game, non-existent. These wide receivers are literally running into the same spots on their routes. This is the most embarrassing offense I have seen, not from just a player standpoint, but from a coaching standpoint. The fact that you had 10 days off against the Raiders and then another 7 against the Broncos and you came out with nothing for a game plan is effing embarrassing. Everyone in that entire organization should be completely disgusted with themselves. Matt LaFleur, Joe Barry, Adam Stenovich, the dumb offensive coordinator who sucks. Listen, this is just the worst offense I've seen in a long time, and I think that we were a better offense when we had Brett Hundley at quarterback. And we were, because we had Devontae Adams, an actual number 1 wide receiver on the team. I love our receivers, but none of these guys have that dog in them. They never have that capability that we can just rely on them. No, they're just a bunch of supporting guys, and we have nothing on this offense. It's freaking sad. I'm going with Minnesota. I don't want to, but I'm going to have to. I'd very much be surprised if we won an entire game all year. I hope that we lose to the Panthers so we can get a number 1 pick or a top 5 pick. This is awful.
Really quick, how disappointing overall, not just you, but from what you hear from other Packer fans as well, the performance as of late from Christian Watson. He was touted to be the number 1 guy there.
Well, I mean, I don't even think it's, I can't even really focus on Christian Watson when our quarterback is not even throwing on 2 feet, not dropping back correctly, bouncing in the pocket on 3rd and 20 when you have a wide open A.J. Dillon 10 yards upfield to get into field goal range. It is the most frustrating thing to watch in my entire life as a sports fan.
Do you feel like he's doing a little too much instead of just doing the basics to get you guys in good position?
Yeah, I mean, it's 3rd and long with the game on the line, or even 4th down, and he'll throw 30 yards downfield, underthrown, and throw an interception. It's awful. The kid has 7 interceptions in the past 3 weeks.
Started off hot, and then things.
Yeah, it's bad. And everybody's saying that he's in a slump. Bullshit. It's easy to say that you're in a slump when you were good before. We don't even know what the hell this guy is. Yeah, he torched the Bears. They suck. The Saints, lucky win. Screwed the comeback against the frickin' Falcons. The Lions game, abysmal. These past 2 games against the worst teams in the league are probably his worst games as a pro. That is bad. That is freaking awful. I can't even. I'm out. I'm out.
I drained you out.
Yeah, I feel like the Packers have had a lot of situations where, at the end of the games, he had a chance to win the games a lot. And, it's a weird feeling as not a person that's watched the Packers consistently get those, for the last 15 years. You're kind of almost expecting Jordan Love to be the same as Rodgers, because that's how it happened after Favre even. And it's just no, it's not there. At least not yet. It's bad. Like you mentioned, your whole secondary is banged up too, so I don't think
Darnell Savage and Eric Stokes back to the IR today.
It's not going to get much better, I don't think, in Green Bay, unfortunately.
Nope.
Give me the Vikings on the road here. I mentioned it earlier in the year where I thought the Minnesota Vikings were going to turn their season around at some point. I thought it was coming, and now if they win this, it'll be 3 in a row. So I think this is the turning point for them to get back to 500 and maybe try to catch the Lions for the division. If not, try to grab a wild card spot. But they're one of the best offenses in the league. If they can figure it out on defense and help Kirk Cousins and actually give him some time, they'll be all right.
I forgot what the fuck I was going to say. I'm so mad at this damn team.
All right. Well, I'm not going to take too long in the pick. I'm going with the Minnesota Vikings as well. I completely agree with you, Chris. When you're saying that they're going to turn the season around at some point, I felt 100% the same way. That's why I took a reach and picked them against the San Francisco 49ers. I was just I think they can do it. I think, especially home, primetime game, 49ers didn't look good against the Browns, so I think they had a good chance. With that being said, I think Minnesota can have a good run here. Win the division? I don't think so. I think the Lions could continue back to like bounce back after what they had last week. We'll get into that in a sec. But aside from that, yeah, Minnesota Vikings are gonna hopefully win this game. We're all picking them.
Hopefully not.
Even Joey here. Even Joey.
Just
here.
one last thing. Like, our expectations were low, but holy fuck, dude. This is awful. This is I can't. This guy looks worse than Sam Howell, looks worse than Baker Mayfield, looks worse than Gardner Minshew. There are 32 quarterbacks I would rather have than Jordan Love.
Clip this.
Oh, no, we're clipping this entire
Save
thing.
this.
Clip it. I mean, as of right now, week freaking 8, 2023, you are terrible. Turn it the hell around.
I love the final part. Turn it the hell around, because it's not that you're out on him. It's just he hasn't done great.
It's awful.
All right, we'll keep it moving. It's about time the Miami Dolphins are about to debut for this season their white throwback uniforms against the New England Patriots. Man, I'm so excited. Dolphins had a tough loss last week to the Philadelphia Eagles, who, I mean, man, that tush push is unstoppable, man. That 6-minute fourth quarter drive, literally, that's all the Eagles did to the Dolphins. But I don't think the Patriots have that dog in them. I think the Dolphins are going to come out on top, and I think they're going to have a good week, good bounce back week. Some news. I know 2 guys were on the injury report today. It was Tyreek Hill and Raheem Mostert. If they don't play, it definitely lowers the confidence of winning, but does it make a difference in my decision? Not at all. I think this Dolphins team, without them, is better than this New England Patriots team, but overall, Patriots haven't been good defensively as of late, and that's going to be the biggest thing on what can help the Dolphins win without Tyreek Hill, without Raheem Mostert, should that be the case. But I don't expect that to be the case. But go ahead, Chris.
I'm going to take the Dolphins as well. I think the Patriots shocked everybody with the win last week, honestly. And the Dolphins are a historically good offense. There's no way New England keeps up with their firepower, so I think it's an easy pick to take Miami.
Yeah, I'm really mad that Raheem Mostert didn't practice today, but I did pick up Jeff Wilson for my fantasy team. But I'm going to go with Miami, too, either way. Doesn't really matter. New England had you won last week against the Bills. They don't look too great, but Miami's going to humble them really quick.
Thanks. All right, well, what do we have next, Joey?
So next up, we have the New Orleans Saints facing off against the Indianapolis Colts. Colts do not have Anthony Richardson anymore. Gardner Minshew looked pretty good last week. I think I'm going to rock with the Colts here. The Saints have looked just the most inconsistent team in the league, or at least one of.
Mm-hmm.
I don't really know what to think of the Saints. They have great talent, but they don't execute. Derek Carr is terrible. Chris Olave just got arrested. And Alvin Kamara has been a no-show since his return. So I'm going to rock with the Colts here.
I'm not going to take too long. I'm rocking with the Colts as well. Sorry, DJ. This Saints team with Derek Carr at the helm, not really too confident in them. They battle and they come close. And like if Foster Moreau, whatever his last name is, if he would have came down with that touchdown in the final moments in that Jaguars game, then maybe things could be said a little bit different. It would be like, okay, like Saints actually had a good shot of like winning that game, put themselves in position to probably win that game. And they did. There's no disputing that. But they didn't come down with those 6 points that they desperately needed. But yeah, back on to Chris.
I'm going to take the Colts at home. Saints have been up and down, but that defense is pretty good. So I think Minshew might struggle a bit. But since he's taken over, the Colts have scored like 37 and 39 points in back-to-back games. They lost by I think 1 point last week. They're putting up points. The Saints aren't at all really scoring, and it's been a lot of defense for them. So I'm going to go with the hot team as far as offense is concerned and take the Colts.
Nice. What do we got next?
Next is a battle of two New York teams. Some would say New Jersey teams, but you got
hell yeah, Jersey tough.
You got the Jets taking on the Giants.
Hot dogs, how you doing? Tony Soprano. New York Jets.
New York.
Better than the Giants.
Gabagool.
I'm gonna just take the Jets coming off a bye. I don't know. Both teams are trash. But give me the least of the trash, I guess, which is the Jets. I don't know. Especially if Daniel Jones plays, which he might.
Yeah, I'm gonna be quick here. I'm gonna also go with the New York Jets. They have a better team and more consistent team at the home, which is kind of crazy to say with everything they've been dealing with on the offensive side of the ball. But the New York Giants don't look horrible. Got a big win last week against the Washington Commanders to basically keep their season alive. Does Tyrod Taylor play? Does he make a difference in this game? I think if he does play, he makes a difference, but that Jets defense is way too good. And the inconsistency from this New York Giants team has been really concerning, even with Tyrod Taylor at the helm. But good win by them last week. Finally, we're able to score touchdowns, so that's something new.
Yeah, I saw Colin Cowherd today say he was impressed with the Giants' young Tyrod Taylor. Dude was drafted in 2011. He's 35 years old.
Yeah, I was about to say.
Guy don't know nothing. Anyway.
It's better than what he said about what's his
Dwayne
name.
Haskins.
Oh,
Yeah.
gosh.
Awful. Anyway, I'm going to go with the New York Jets here. As much as I would love to go with the Giants, they've looked pretty good last week. Big upset win against the Commanders, which I predicted. But I've liked what I've seen from Tyrod Taylor, turning back the clock a little bit. But I think it halts here. Jets are a good team. Defensively, offensively too. They're minus a quarterback. But I feel like they get it done. Breece Hall has been going off all year.
I kind of like Tyrod Taylor at the helm over Daniel Jones, to be honest. So, like, if he does play, it could sway me to the Giants. But at the end of the day, this is the Battle of the Meadowlands, and the better team at the Meadowlands is the Jets, Jet Life Stadium, whatever you want to call it. So I think they'll be the better team that day. But let's go back to you for this next game, Joey.
Sorry, that Jet Life Stadium thing made me cringe. It will always be Giants Stadium. I don't care who the hell you are. Anyway, we got the Philadelphia Eagles traveling to Washington to face off against the Commanders. And I don't know why the Philadelphia Eagles, thorn in their side is always the Washington Commanders. Every single season, they always just play them tough. That last, week 4?
It was pretty recent, but yeah, it was like 34, 30 something. They forced OT and everything.
And it was probably one of the best games all year.
Mm-hmm.
I think I'm going to go with the Eagles here and get a somewhat different game. I think it'll be more one-sided this go around. The film's out there; they know how to attack them. The Eagles are a great coach team and a great team with a lot of great talent. That tush push is lethal.
All right. Well, just from seeing a lot of the Philadelphia Eagles tush push last week, I will go with them. But like Joey said, I think it's going to be a closely contested matchup. This Washington Commanders team doesn't take shit from the Eagles at all, and I don't expect them to stop doing so now. But aside from that, it's tough. Sam Howell came out the gates pretty hot, performing really well. He's kind of slowed down a touch. That Giants defense really limited them last week. I'm expecting them to have a better offensive output, probably 28 points or so against this Philadelphia Eagles team, which is not too shabby.
I don't know about that. They only scored 7 against the Giants. Give me the Eagles. They're a way better team. Like you mentioned, Sam Howell has kind of cooled off after kind of a hot start. He's got 7 interceptions on the year, which is a lot so far. We're in week 8, so
averaging an interception per game.
pretty much. But he's thrown most of them in the last couple of games. I'm gonna take the Eagles.
Alrighty, who you got for this next game? First game of the 4:00 window.
This game is interesting. You got the Browns going to Seattle to play the Seahawks. The Browns are probably the best defensive team in the league, at least right now at this point throughout the year. Myles Garrett is a monster. He's definitely going to have an impact in this game. I think the Seahawks are signing Frank Clark, which he probably won't get too many snaps if he does play in this one, but is going to be a pretty big factor going forward. I'm going to take the Seahawks at home. Just because no Deshaun Watson for the Browns, even though he hasn't really been there all year anyways, but they don't have a legit quarterback, in my opinion. I'm going to go with the Seahawks at home.
Yeah, I'm going to go with the Seahawks as well. Cleveland has looked good with P.J. Walker, but I don't know. I'm going to go with Seattle. They're both 2-loss teams, and I think that Seattle has the better team.
Yeah, I do agree that Seattle does have the better team, but I'm gonna go with Cleveland here. I think that defense will definitely carry them to the win. Myles Garrett had an absolute monster day against the Colts last week. I don't think he 100% replicates. I don't think he gets 2 strip sacks, and I forgot what else he did. That was crazy.
He had a safety, didn't he, too? Or something?
The strip sack that was in the end zone turned into a touchdown.
He jumped over the line and blocked the field goal.
Yeah, that was insane. Little shades of like Bobby Wagner doing that a lot.
I thought you weren't supposed to jump over the line anymore.
You can't touch
the center.
You can't even if like your toe like grazes.
He just straight verted over him.
Yeah, no, it's crazy. It's crazy. He's an absolute beast. So I think he helps carry this Browns team to the win. On top of just getting after Geno Smith is going to be huge for this Browns defense who gets after anyone who they're playing. It doesn't matter who they are. But let's keep it moving. We have the Baltimore Ravens versus the Arizona Cardinals. This kickoff is at 4:25. And Baltimore Ravens had an absolute showing against the Detroit Lions last week. It was like 38-6 or something, and pretty much cooled down after like mid-third quarter. But that's given you're already up by so much, and you're locking them up completely. I think the touchdown was basically a sympathy touchdown that they gave to the Lions. But I'm going to go with the Baltimore Ravens. Kyler Murray could return for this game. I don't know if you guys have any more details on that, but the possibility of him returning to this game is slim to none, but don't rule it out completely. But this could be Kyler Murray's return game.
Yeah, you got a nice battle of the birds going on here. You got Ravens and Cardinals. The better is definitely going to be them purple ones. So let me go with Baltimore. After last week, they have Baltimore pretty high, and a lot of people have them high up in their team rankings. I've seen them all the way up in like the 2 range.
Okay, the one I saw was 3. But
yeah, I don't know if I'm gonna go with that far, but they did look good. I think they scored on their first 3 or 4 drives last week against the Lions, who have been another one of those top teams. But I'm gonna go with Baltimore. They're way better than the Cardinals. The Cardinals are terrible.
Yeah, I was watching it with one of my boys who's a Ravens fan, and like they just didn't stop scoring. He was like so excited. He's just like, yeah, man, it's too easy. Mark Andrews was a beast, dude, a beast.
Bad day to be playing against Mark Andrews in fantasy.
Oh, horrible.
Awful. And Lamar. But, yeah, this is a really easy game to pick. I'm going to go with the Ravens. They've looked dominant, especially last week against one of the best teams in the league, if not the best team in the NFC, outside of the Philadelphia Eagles, that is. Lamar, is he in the conversation for MVP?
He could be. He has to get I would say the passing has to be like uptick a lot more. He can't replicate that performance he had when he won MVP last time, like running the ball all over the place. He definitely needs to prove that he's growing in the passing asset, and then I think then you can pretty much really solidify him as an MVP, like top MVP candidate.
That touchdown he threw last week where he was in the pocket for like 10 solid seconds was insane. Going with the Ravens here, really easy game to pick.
All right, who we got next, Joe?
We got the Cincinnati Bengals traveling to San Francisco to face off against the 49ers. 49ers, Brock Purdy is unlikely to play in concussion protocol. Deebo Samuel unlikely to play.
Definitely not playing.
Yeah, he's not playing. He's out.
He's out, yeah.
And there was a guy, Trent Williams, out as well. McCaffrey might play. He played last week, scored 2 touchdowns. Wouldn't surprise me, though, if something flared up and he was held out. I don't know with these running backs anymore and their damn injuries. I'm going to go with the Bengals here, though. Not very confident in Sam Darnold, even though that he does have a lot of weapons to work with. I think that the Bengals are starting to get back into their groove, and this will be a good game for Joe Burrow and Jamar Chase.
I wasn't aware, but did you say anything about Brock Purdy in the concussion protocol? Okay, for sure. All right, go ahead, Chris.
Yeah, I'm going to go and agree with you, and I'm going to take the Bengals coming off of a bye week here. Sam Darnold might be great in this offense. I actually think he's probably a better quarterback than Purdy, so I'm excited to see him play finally. You know, you don't want to ever see anybody get hurt, but I'm excited to see if he does play well or not. But since we haven't seen it yet, I'm going to go with Cincinnati, even though it's on the road.
Yeah, I got to agree with you guys. It's tough for me to want to like go against the 49ers and see them lose possibly 3 games in a row. But that may be the case here. A lot of these injuries are starting to pile up, and a team like the 49ers, a lot of those injuries can derail an entire season, one that had a lot of title aspirations. especially how their season went last year. They thought, okay, we can run this back and be fine. And so far, it hasn't been that case. Those two recent losses really set them back a lot. But I'm gonna keep us moving. We got the Kansas City Chiefs versus the Denver Broncos. Not gonna waste a lot of time, even though Joey might talk our ears off about the Denver Broncos. I'm going with the Chiefs. Yeah, I mean Mahomes, Chiefs, and Kelsey, and not gonna say her name, but she is. They're on fire. They're on fire, and when she's there, he's also nonstop on fire. So let's see if she's there. We're gonna see the uptick in numbers if that's the case. But go ahead, Joe.
That freaking handshake made me throw up.
you saw Jackson
It's
get
awful.
into it. At the
Oh
end.
my God, stop. I can't even deal with it. I'm going with the Chiefs. I don't even want to talk about them anymore.
Oh gosh.
Oh yeah, you got to go with the Chiefs. They're probably the best team in football, which is no surprise there. And Travis and Patrick Mahomes are playing out of their mind. Some of the best football they've actually played ever, which is surprising because they're like 8 years into it together or something like that. But they're aging like a fine wine. They're not going to lose to Denver, I don't think. Give me the Chiefs.
One quick addition is the injury to Nick Bolton. I haven't checked on like the status as of late, but he did mess up his wrist towards the end of that Chargers game last week. And should he be sidelined for a while, it will be a damper in that Chiefs defense, but I think they can right the ship and hold off without having him on the field for a little bit. But will be a big concern if things go a little bit sideways on that recovery.
Yeah, he dislocated his wrist and had surgery, so he's going to be out for a while.
Okay.
But he'll probably be back by the end of the season or towards the end.
For sure. All right. What we got for Sunday night, baby?
Oh, man. I don't know why they put us back in primetime games, but here we are. I think they probably thought we were going to be better than we are, which so did I. I didn't pick them last week, and they won. I'm not going to pick them this week, and they're probably not going to win. The Chargers need the win desperately, and the Bears, I don't know. I don't know what we're doing. Khalil Mack loves playing against his former team, too, by the way. He usually always has a sack when playing against the Bears, so he'll probably do it again this week. Justin Herbert, man, what are you doing? He desperately needs this win, especially at home. He's got a little bit of extra time, couple hours. It's a later game. He needs to win this.
Yeah, the Chargers are probably one of the most poorly coached teams in the NFL. I said it last week. I don't know how Brandon Staley still has a job. Last week kind of proved it again. He's definitely on the hot seat for sure. They need this win, like you said, Chris. I'm going with the Chargers here. Tyson Bagent or whatever it is.
Yeah.
Did okay.
Not too bad. Not too bad. Anyways, I will not take anyone's time away with this one. Let's go with the Los Angeles Chargers. As much as I kind of want to pick the Bears, they haven't been too well, but big performance last week. Big win against the Las Vegas Raiders. Devontae Foreman, absolutely huge game. That was interesting to see out of him. And Figgy, I told you, start Foreman. And what did you do? You didn't listen to me, bro. Don't ask for my opinion if you're not going to listen. But anyways, this Chargers team desperately needs this win. They're not too far off from having a top pick, just like the Bears. So if they really want to turn this ship around and really prove Justin Herbert's worth, because they gave him a massive contract this season, I would really recommend pulling all the stops out and winning this game for the sanity of not only your fans, that little lady on the sidelines, and probably the owner. So definitely pull things together. And last but not least, we have the Las Vegas Raiders versus Detroit Lions, Monday Night Football. Detroit will be wearing their all blue uniform all gray uniform with the blue helmets with the throwback logos on it. Little eye roll from Joey. He's not a fan of it. I am. I'm going to go with the Detroit Lions. I think the loss last week was very tough, but I think they have a good chance of winning against this Las Vegas Raiders team who's very inconsistent. I don't like Brian Hoyer at the quarterback position for them at all. I think they should put Aiden
McConnell or O'Connell?
Yeah, McConnell. I think they should definitely put Aiden McConnell back there instead of Brian Hoyer, because why not? You already know what you have in Brian Hoyer.
Mm-hmm.
You don't know what you have in Aiden McConnell, and you might move off of Jimmy Garoppolo after this season, if anything. So why not just try out the young kid and see what's going on? not doing too much on the season. 3-4 is not horrible, but it's not going to get you too far in the AFC West. It's either wild card or bust for them, and they really need to turn the season around if they want to do that. But let's go with Joey.
Yeah, I think I'm going to go with the Lions here. The Raiders, they're doing my boy Devontae dirty. Not giving him any targets, not letting them be great. It's sad to watch. But the Lions are really good. They did just have a bad loss to the Ravens, but I'm going to go with Detroit here.
I'm going to take Detroit as well. Big bounce back week for them after a really, really bad performance. Hopefully they're a bit healthier too. They've been a little banged up, especially at the running back position. Vegas sucks. I don't care who you throw out there at quarterback. They're going to lose to the Lions at home on Monday Night Football. And it's nice to see, the Bears on Sunday night and the Lions on Monday night. Would you look at that?
The Wright family's just living it up, huh?
Yeah, it's going to be great. It's going to be great.
All right, well, that concludes Week 8 of NFL Game Picks. No teams on bye this week, so lots and lots of football to be watched, to be enjoyed. Some people may cry a little bit. Might be Joey after the Vikings take a win.
I'm all cried out. Then I'm just fucking disappointed and disgusted.
Yeah, the Dolphins are wearing the throwbacks for the first time this season, so Hard Rock will be rocking, and against the divisional foe in the New England Patriots. So that should be very, very fun. Last but not least, we got Christopher Wright.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No comment?
I mean, yeah, we got another test ahead. Not looking forward to it, but at least it's late enough to where I should be able to watch a good amount of it, and maybe I'll cry. Who knows?
What if we all cry? Hey, congrats to Chris. We gotta have a winner in this house every week. And
the sole survivor.
Held it up for us. I don't know how many more have in me. So you guys better start winning.
I think the Dolphins will get back to the winning ways. Anyways, that concludes Week 8 of NFL Game Picks. Thank you guys very much for watching, and we'll see you next week. Peace.